Welcome to Cashflow Diary, a podcast where we discuss business, money, real estate, and the sharing economy. As a full-time real estate investor, entrepreneur, and all-around problem solver, I have had the privilege of developing individuals into powerful business owners. And today, the focus turns towards you. Our mission is to help you build your real estate empire by leveraging strategies to grow yourself, your mind, and your wallet. Let's get started.
What's up, creators? Massey here with the Cashflow Diary. I've had the privilege of serving more than 3,000 guests and completing more than 1,000 reservations using sites like HomeAway, Booking.com, Airbnb, and others. I share with you how to grow your cash flow using real estate and the sharing economy. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. There was an article from skiff.com that came out questioning whether or not the percentage growth of Airbnb was a sign of trouble or a sign of saturation or a sign that the opportunity was somehow over. And what I wanted to do is that I wanted to give you some thoughts, most importantly, so that you can protect your mindset as the entrepreneur who's going out there to provide clean, safe, affordable housing for individuals who need it on a temporary basis. As I was reading it, I noticed a tone that it made it sound like Airbnb, the one marketplace, was the entire industry of short-term rentals. It's not. There's so many more marketplaces that are available. Again, if you follow me for any length of time, you know good and well that I've often said you are in the short-term rental business. You don't have an Airbnb business. Now, if you're running a proper system, you are diversified across multiple platforms. If you're running a proper system, you have the ability to sync your calendars and you know exactly what you need to do in response. Whether one platform goes up and another one goes down, it should not affect your business because you're building a short-term rental business, not just an Airbnb business. I should also state that this is another reason why you should run your business with business systems that span multiple property types and multiple platforms, because you don't want to have a weakness in your business system. That is what is known as a single point of failure. Single points of failure would totally crash your business. Just think about it. Would you get on a plane? Let's pretend you're going to travel somewhere, okay? Would you get on a plane if it only had one wing? Planes normally have two, but the plane you're getting on only has one wing. Are you going to board? The answer is no. This is, again, why you want to make sure that your plane, your business, has at least two wings, preferably a lot more, for backup systems in case something happens to any one marketplace or platform. Again, I've said it before. I'll say it one more time. Short-term rentals are not new. It's not a fad. It's not a trend. It's been around for a very long time, all the way back to the Civil War times when banks used to make sure that there was a separate house on the property so that the person buying the property had enough income to pay for it. Number two, inside the article, they bring up something that is very valid: privacy and security. They're saying that one of the main concerns for guests is privacy and security. And they're 100% right. They should be concerned. This is what I've said time and time again. You cannot have that which is convenient also be secure. They're on two opposite ends of the spectrum. Here's what I mean. By default, if it's convenient, that means you got quick, easy access. It's not complicated in some cases. It's just really easy to do. If it's secure, there could be multiple steps, verifications, all these other things which are perceived to be inconvenient. Well, depending on the business system you're running, you either have a very convenient system or you have a very secure system. I prefer a secure system. Having grown up a military kid and been all over the globe, one of the things the military, or living on military bases, that you get very, very used to is many levels of security. I mean, just think about it. The TSA, when you travel again, they're not convenient, okay? They're not convenient, but they're there as an extra measure of security. The same must be for you when you're running your short-term rentals. If you are not running a secure system because you are afraid to be too inconvenient for your guests, then that's going to cause a problem. You must run a secure system. Now, a secure system requires processes, SOPs, and steps for all levels. So again, now you're running on multiple platforms and you're trying to vet and secure your location. from people who are coming from many different places, everyone has to go through the same level of security so that you have some level of confidence that everybody is being treated the same. And most importantly, you have an understanding of what that safety looks like. This is important for your staff when they go to clean. This is important for your maintenance crew. This is important for the people who live next to your short-term rental. Maintaining security, in my opinion, is paramount, and you have to have the right tools, technology, and techniques on how to do so that it doesn't become offensive to the guests and you don't have issues with discrimination or screening improperly. It can be done, but the problem in the article that they're talking about, when guests feel that it's not secure, it's because many of us may not know how to actually run a secure system. We've never been taught. Yes, we have an unparalleled opportunity in front of us, but we also have to be responsible with that opportunity by running a secure system. Here's what I mean. We cannot just give a keypad code. A keypad code, while it is convenient, it is by default not secure. Because can that keypad code be shared? That's the first question you have to ask yourself. If the only thing you do to provide access to your guests is you give them a keypad code, okay. How many people are going to be there? Who are they sharing that with? You may not know. You have to have procedures in place to make sure that you know if a keypad code is used, who entered that particular code. One of the things that we've been able to do is we actually assign a code to each individual person, but not only to each individual person, but honestly to each individual cell phone. It's hyper inconvenient when you have a guest who has multiple people, but it is by far secure. We know who opened the door, how many times they opened the door, when they opened the door, did they use their phone, did they use their keypad? We've got pictures of them. At the end of the day, you have to run a secure system. Now let's talk about growth, because that's the next thing that they mentioned in the article. Well, growth, first of all, the way the article is writing about it, it's kind of misleading because it's measured as a percentage. So what's 1% of a trillion? 1% of a trillion is still a big number, whereas 25% of 100,000, wow, 25% growth. It sounds like it's big, but it really isn't. The numbers are small. Just because they're the biggest one doesn't mean that they're in trouble. It doesn't mean that your opportunity is gone. It just means they're bigger now. By default, what ends up happening is that the larger the number at the bottom, the smaller the percentage growth. It gets difficult to maintain that percentage growth over time, but that it doesn't mean that there aren't more listings at play. Here's what I do know. There aren't enough quality listings at all. I know of new operators who are popping up in places like Minot, North Dakota, and Bentonville, Arkansas, and places that you would not think of naturally as, ooh, let me run a short-term rental business here. Now, at the beginning of this video, I told you that I was going to tell you what was really going on behind the scenes. In essence, I want to tell you what game is really being played. Understand, hotels have a place. OTAs have a place. We can all get along, but the game that's being played is how can we slow them down? When you're the incumbent inside of an industry and you see the newcomer who is coming and they're coming hard and fast and they've got a better, more efficient system than you, you have to play the game of how can we slow them down while we catch up? And they do that two ways. They play it out in the political world, which you've seen, and then they play it out in the media. Again, which you've seen. These things will continue to come. Here's my point. That doesn't lessen your opportunity. You, the entrepreneur, still have an opportunity if you're willing to take advantage of it. There are some headlines you should completely ignore. What we've got to do is we've got to be that Berean. We've got to dig deeper. We got to understand what's behind those headlines, because in my experience is that demand for quality units that are run well is really, really high. And understand this is a review-based business. So you can see the difference between a quality unit and a quality operator versus a non-quality part-time operator who's just hoping to get some money now and again. Whether you're part-time or full-time, you've got to run a quality system all the way through in order to make it happen. Do I think the opportunity is saturated? No. In fact, I think it's barely begun.
right, everyone. I'm Jay Massey, and I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Cashflow Diary podcast. If you'd like to keep the conversation going, head over to CashFlowDiary.com to sign up for our email list. Check out all of the links and resources in the show notes. Thank you again. Until next time.